The tray slammed down on the laminate table like a gunshot in the packed university cafeteria, sending my half-eaten turkey sandwich skittering toward the edge. "He's mine, Spencer. Back the hell off before I make you," Bobby snarled, his broad shoulders heaving. Alpha pheromones thick in the air like a storm rolling in off Lake Michigan. I froze, fork midway to my mouth, as every eye in the room snapped to us. Me, the nobody beta caught in the crossfire of two alphas who'd just turned lunch hour into a battlefield. It started with a spilled coffee that morning, but no one knew that yet. Not the freshmen whispering behind their hands, not the sorority girls filming on their phones, and sure as hell not me, Alex Rivera, the kid from the South Side who'd clawed his way into Northwestern on a partial scholarship, thinking college would be about late-night cram sessions and maybe a quiet hookup or two. But there I was, 21 and ordinary as a faded Cubs jersey, pinned under the weight of Bobby's golden boy glare and Spencer's ice-cold fury, my heart pounding like it was trying to escape the mess I'd accidentally made. Bobby lunged first, his fist connecting with Spencer's jaw in a crack that echoed off the vaulted ceilings of the student union. Gasps rippled through the crowd like wind through dry cornstalks back home in Illinois. Spencer staggered but didn't go down. Alphas like him never did. He wiped the blood from his lip with the back of his hand, his dark eyes narrowing to slits. "You think a pretty face and daddy's money make you entitled to him? Alex isn't some trophy for your frat boy ego." His voice was low, gravelly, laced with that East Coast edge he'd brought from New York, the kind that made professors squirm in seminars. I shoved back from the table, chair legs screeching against the tile. "Guys, stop. What the actual fuck?" My voice cracked, beta-flat and uncommanding, swallowed by the growing murmur of the mob. Security was already weaving through the tables, walkie-talkies crackling, but it felt like slow motion. Bobby turned to me, his hazel eyes wild. That easy smile he'd flashed 100 times in the library stacks twisted into something feral. "Tell him, Alex. Tell him you're with me." Spencer shot me a look then, betrayal carved deep, like I'd plunged the knife myself. The fight blurred after that, fists flying, trays toppling, the acrid scent of spilled soda mixing with the metallic tang of blood. I grabbed Bobby's arm mid-swing, my fingers digging into his bicep, but it was like trying to halt a freight train. Spencer tackled him into a vending machine, glass shattering in a cascade of Doritos and regret. By the time campus PD hauled them apart, zip ties cutting into wrists, the whole scene was viral. Alpha Brawl trending on every student's feed before the paramedics even arrived. They dragged me into the dean's office that afternoon, the three of us side by side on a sagging vinyl couch that smelled like stale regret and institutional cleaner. Dean Hargrove, a beta herself with a no-nonsense bob and glasses perched on her nose like a judge's gavel, steepled her fingers. "Mr. Rivera, perhaps you can enlighten us on why two of our star athletes, captain of the lacrosse team and debate society president, no less, are willing to throw away their futures over. What exactly?" Her eyes bored into me, expectant. I swallowed hard, the knot in my throat tasting like chalk. How do you explain the unexplainable? That I'd met Bobby first, in Bio 201, when he slid into the seat next to me with a grin that could melt polar ice caps. "Hey, Beta, mind sharing notes?" I was too busy charming the TA last night. His laugh was infectious, warm like summer asphalt after rain, and before I knew it, we were study buddies turning into something more. Stolen kisses in the stacks of Deering Library, his hand on my thigh under the table at off-campus diners in Evanston. He smelled like cedar and confidence, an alpha who made me feel seen, not invisible. But Spencer, God, Spencer crashed into my life like a nor'easter. It was during orientation week, actually. No, wait, that was Bobby. Spencer was the TA for my American Lit class, the one with the brooding stare and sleeves rolled up over forearms corded like old rope. He caught me lingering after lecture one day, fumbling with my backpack strap. "Rivera, right? Your essay on Whitman, bold take. Most betas play it safe." His voice wrapped around me, low and probing, like he was dissecting my soul along with the poetry. We started meeting in his office hours, ostensibly to discuss drafts, but it evolved into late-night debates over greasy pizza at Lou Malnati's, arguing the merits of Ginsburg versus Kerouac until the servers kicked us out. He never pushed, never let his alpha side dominate. Just listened, really listened, his dark eyes holding mine like I was the only verse that mattered. One rainy Tuesday, as thunder rattled the windows of his cramped apartment off campus, he brushed a wet strand of hair from my forehead. "You're not ordinary, Alex. Don't let anyone tell you different." And then his lips were on mine, soft at first, then deepening with a hunger that left me breathless. Two alphas, one beta heart, too small to hold them both. I'd kept it secret, compartmentalized like the color-coded folders on my desk. Bobby on weekends, Spencer on weekdays. No overlap, no mess. Until that coffee spill that morning. I'd been rushing to class, juggling a Vinny Americano and my psych textbook, when I collided with Spencer in the quad. The lid popped off, soaking his crisp button down, and in the chaos of apologies, Bobby rounded the corner, misreading the whole damn thing as some illicit embrace. Now, here we sat, the air thick with unspoken accusations. Bobby's knuckles were split, a bruise blooming purple on his jaw. Spencer nursed a swollen lip, his usual poise cracked like the vending machine glass. I wanted to scream, to tell them both to grow up, that I wasn't worth this destruction. But the words stuck, heavy as lead. "They're both important to me," I mumbled finally, cheeks burning under Hargrove's scrutiny. She sighed, pinching the bridge of her nose. "Mr. Rivera, this isn't high school drama. We're talking suspensions, records that follow you to grad school. Sort this out. Counseling, mediation, whatever it takes, or you're all out." They released us with warnings buzzing in our ears like angry hornets. Bobby stormed off first, slamming the door so hard the frosted glass pane rattled. Spencer lingered, his hand brushing mine as we stood. "Alex, was it real? Or just a game?" His voice was raw, stripped bare. I yanked away, chest aching. "Don't. Not now." And then I ran. Down the echoing halls of the admin building, out into the crisp Chicago wind whipping off the lake, wondering how the hell I'd become the eye of this hurricane. That night, I holed up in my single dorm room on the third floor of Willard Residential College, the walls closing in like a bad dream. Posters of the Bean and the skyline mocked me from above my bed, reminders of a city that chewed up dreamers and spat out husks. My phone blew up, texts from friends, voicemails from Bobby pleading, a single message from Spencer, "We need to talk. My place, please." I deleted them all, curling under the threadbare quilt my abuela sent from Pilsen, the one embroidered with roses that smelled faintly of her kitchen. Sleep came in fits, haunted by flashes, Bobby's laugh echoing in the Art Institute, Spencer's fingers tracing sonnets on my skin. By dawn, resolve hardened in my gut like cold oatmeal. I couldn't keep juggling fire. One of them was going to get burned. But who? Classes dragged that week, a blur of lectures I barely heard. Bobby cornered me after econ, his lacrosse jersey still damp from practice, eyes shadowed with hurt. "Babe, it was a misunderstanding. Spencer's just jealous. Everyone knows he's got that brooding artist thing going, but it's fake. You're real with me." He pulled me into a hug, strong arms enveloping, but it felt off, like wearing someone else's coat. I pulled back gently. "Bobby, we need space. This fight, it's insane." His face crumpled, that golden boy mask slipping. "Space? After everything? I thought we were endgame, Alex." Endgame. The word hung there, heavy with promise and pressure. Back home, betas like me didn't get endgames with alphas, not without strings, expectations, the whole societal script of suppressants and secondary roles. But Bobby made it seem possible, like I could step out of the shadows. Spencer was subtler, slipping a dog-eared copy of Howl under my door with a note. "Read the part about the angels. That's you to me." I devoured it in one sitting, highlighter bleeding yellow across the margins, tears blurring the ink. He found me later in the stacks, our old haunt. "I won't fight for you like that again," he said softly, leaning against a shelf of dusty tomes. "Not if it hurts you. But know this. I see you, Alex. All of you." His honesty gutted me, sharper than Bobby's charm. We talked for hours, voices hushed amid the scent of aged paper, unpacking the fear that alphas like him, top of the food chain, could ever want a beta without an agenda. "My family's old money," he admitted, staring at the floor. "Expectations. But you're the first thing that's felt like freedom." Freedom. It echoed in my bones, a siren call. But guilt gnawed at me, twin to the betrayal I'd sown. I confessed fragments, late nights with Bobby, the ease of it all, but not the depth. Not yet. The mediation session was a farce, the three of us crammed into a windowless room with a counselor named Dr. Ellis, a Omega with kind eyes, and a clipboard full of platitudes. Communication is key, she droned, as Bobby and Spencer traded glares like loaded pistols. I sat between them, a human barrier, sweat prickling my neck. Tell him to stay away, Bobby muttered, arms crossed. Only if you admit you're using him as a rebound from that sorority girl last semester, Spencer shot back. My head snapped up. What? Bobby flushed crimson. It was nothing, a party hookup. Before us, Alex. I swear. But the seed was planted, doubts sprouting like weeds in cracked concrete. Was I just convenient? A safe beta harbor for his alpha storms? Dr. Ellis cleared her throat. Mr. Rivera? Your feelings? I laughed, bitter and broken. My feelings? I'm terrified. Of losing you both. Of being the reason you destroy each other. Of realizing maybe neither of you wants the real me. Just the idea. Silence crashed down, thick as fog off the lake. Spencer's hand found mine under the table, a secret anchor. Bobby's eyes softened, regret pooling. For the first time, they listened. But secrets have a way of festering. 2 days later, I found the photo on my phone. An anonymous DM, time-stamped from Bobby's frat party last fall. Me, blurry in the background, laughing with some random beta while Bobby kissed a girl by the keg. Caption, ordinary indeed. Why settle? Rage boiled up, hot and unbidden. I confronted him in the quad, rain slicking the paths, umbrellas blooming like black flowers. Was it all a lie? He looked wrecked, rain matting his hair. No, God, no. That was before. I was scared, Alex. Alphas aren't supposed to feel this deep for betas. My dad, he's old school, says it'll ruin me. His vulnerability cracked my armor, but the hurt lingered, a bruise that throbbed. Scared? You let me think I was special, then fight like a caveman over scraps. Spencer appeared then, as if summoned by the storm, coat collar turned up against the downpour. He took one look at us and stepped between. Enough, Bobby. You're poison right now. Bobby's laugh was hollow, says the guy hiding his own skeletons. Ask him about the family trust, Alex, the one that demands a suitable match or he loses everything. Spencer's face went ashen. That's not. But I was already reeling, the ground tilting, betrayals layered like onion skin, peeling back to raw flesh. I backed away, rain mingling with tears. I can't. I need. Out. I fled to the lakefront, waves crashing against the breakwater like accusations. Hours passed, the city lights blurring into neon halos. My phone stayed silent. No pleas, no olive branches. Just me, ordinary Alex, staring into the abyss of what-ifs. The wind off Lake Michigan howled like a wounded animal that night, whipping my hoodie around me as I sat on the damp concrete pier, legs dangling over the edge where the water lapped black and endless. Chicago's skyline loomed behind, all sharp angles and false promises. Willis Tower piercing the clouds like a middle finger to dreamers like me. I'd always loved this spot, the one locals called Suicide Bridge for reasons I tried not to dwell on. Tonight, it felt fitting. Not that I was suicidal. Hell no, Abuela's rosary beads were still warm in my pocket, a talisman against that darkness. But the weight of it all pressed down, threatening to drag me under. Who was I kidding? An ordinary beta from a family of factory workers and corner bodega owners, scraping by on ramen and resolve. Alphas like Bobby and Spencer? They were from another planet, frat houses and family crests, futures paved with gold, while mine was gravel and grit. I'd let myself believe in the fairy tale, that scent-marked glances and whispered sonnets could rewrite the rules. Stupid. So stupid. Footsteps crunched on the gravel path behind me, deliberate and unhurried. I didn't turn. I knew that stride, the one that echoed with quiet authority. Spencer. He dropped down beside me without a word, his wool pea coat brushing my arm, carrying the faint scent of pipe tobacco and old books, his grandfather's study, he'd once confessed. We sat in silence for what felt like eons, the only sounds the buoy bells tolling in the distance and the occasional horn from a barge slicing the dark. I'm sorry, he said finally, voice rough as sandpaper. About the trust. It's true. My folks cut me off if I don't settle down with someone who fits their mold. Omega from the right zip code, probably. He let out a breath, white plume in the chill air. But that's not you, Alex. You're the glitch in their system, the one thing they can't control. I hugged my knees tighter, staring at the reflection of city lights dancing on the waves. And Bobby? His dad's some Wall Street shark, right? Pressuring him to play the part. So what am I? The rebel phase? The dirty little secret? Spencer's hand hovered near mine, then settled on the concrete between us. A boundary respected. You're the truth. For both of us, I think. That's why it hurts so much. Truth. It echoed hollowly. The next morning, I woke in my dorm to a pounding headache and a note slipped under the door. Coffee? Neutral ground. Neutral ground turned out to be the bean. That massive mirrored kidney bean in Millennium Park. Tourists milling like ants on a summer picnic despite the November bite. Bobby waited by the south curve, hands shoved in his North Face jacket, breath fogging as he spotted me weaving through the crowd. He looked smaller somehow, without the lacrosse pads or the frat boy swagger, just a kid with tousled blonde hair and eyes like a kicked puppy. I brought backups, he said, holding up 2 steaming cups from Starbucks, one black, one loaded with cream. Figured you'd need the armor today. We walked the loop around the sculpture, reflections warping us into funhouse versions. Me stretched tall and ethereal, him curved like a question mark. He spilled it all then, words tumbling like loose change. The family dinners in their Gold Coast penthouse, his father's lectures on legacy and legacy matches, the sorority girl a desperate bid for approval. I ended it the second I met you, he insisted, stopping to face me, his free hand gripping the railing. You're not a rebound, Alex. You're the first person who's ever made me want to burn it all down. His sincerity clawed at me, softening the edges of my anger. We ended up on a bench by the fountain, cups cooling as we talked, really talked, for the first time. About his fear of disappointing the old man, my terror of fading into beta obscurity. Laughter crept in, tentative, when he mimicked his dad's booming voice. Robert, son, betas are for bridge games, not bedmates. It felt like the old US, before the storm. But as the sun dipped low, painting the bean in fiery oranges, doubt whispered again. Where did Spencer fit? I couldn't voice it, not yet. Instead, I let Bobby lean in, his forehead resting against mine, a chaste press of warmth against the cold. Give me another shot? No more secrets. I nodded, the lie tasting bittersweet. That night, guilt kept me tossing, the dorm's radiator clanking like a guilty conscience. I texted Spencer, miss our talks. Library tomorrow. His reply was instant. Always. The double life resumed, a tightrope walk over a chasm. Mornings with Spencer in the quiet hush of the library, dissecting Frost's fire and ice over lukewarm vending machine coffee, his foot nudging mine under the table in silent solidarity. Afternoons with Bobby on the lacrosse fields, cheering from the bleachers as he dodged defenders like poetry in motion, his wink across the turf making my stomach flip. It was intoxicating, this duality, the fire of Bobby's touch, the depth of Spencer's gaze. But cracks spiderweb through. Whispers in the halls. Did you hear? The beta's playing both alphas. A missed call from one while with the other. Excuses fraying like old denim. And then, the bomb dropped. It was midterms week, the campus a zombie apocalypse of Red Bull and regret. I was in the computer lab, pounding out a paper on Keynesian economics, when my email pinged. Sender, anonymous.northwestern.edu. Subject, you deserve to know. Attached was a grainy photo. Me, slipping out of Spencer's apartment at 2 a.m., his hand on my lower back, unmistakable. Timestamp, 2 weeks ago, the night after Bobby's game. Below it, a message. While you were studying with the lacrosse star, this happened. Too timing much. My blood ran cold, then hot. Who? How? I bolted from the lab, laptop forgotten, straight to Spencer's office in the English building. He was there, grading midterms under the glow of a desk lamp, tie loosened like an afterthought. Alex? What's? I shoved the phone in his face, the image glaring up accusingly. Explain this. His eyes widened, then narrowed. That's you leaving. We talked. Nothing more. He stood, chair scraping. Who sent this? Does it matter? Bobby's going to see it. Someone's gunning for us. Panic clawed up my throat. Or is it payback? For the fight? Spencer's jaw tightened, that alpha steel surfacing. If you think I'd. The door burst open then, Bobby filling the frame, chest heaving, eyes wild. In his fist, his own phone. Same photo, probably forwarded through the frat gossip mill. You son of a bitch, he growled at Spencer, then turned to me, hurt fracturing his voice. After everything? I trusted you. It wasn't. I started, but he was already advancing, the room shrinking. Spencer stepped forward, hands raised. Bobby, listen. It's a setup. Save it, Ivy League. Alphas like you think you can poach whatever you want. Bobby's fist clenched, the air charging with pheromones, aggression thick, suffocating. I wedged between them, palms flat against their chests. Stop. This is what they want. Us tearing each other apart. My voice broke, beta weak, but desperate. Please. For a heartbeat, they held, breaths ragged. Then Bobby deflated, shoulders slumping. Why, Alex? Am I not enough? Tears stung. You're everything. Both of you are. That's the problem. Spencer exhaled sharply. We end this now. Together. We did, sort of. Piled into Spencer's beat-up Subaru. We drove to the anonymous Cinders Trail. IP logs hacked by a shady CS major friend of Spencer's, ethics be damned. It led to Jake, Bobby's lacrosse teammate, a jealous beta with a grudge against alphas stealing the spotlight. Thought it'd teach you to pick a side. He sneered when we cornered him in the dorm lounge, security lights flickering overhead. Bobby's punch was pulled at the last second, knuckles grazing Jake's shoulder instead. You're done on the team. And with us. We left him cowering, the photo deleted from every server, but the damage lingered like smoke after a fire. In the aftermath, the three of us met at a dive bar in Wrigleyville, away from campus eyes. Neon signs buzzed, Go Cubs, the jukebox crooning Springsteen. Beers sweated on the scarred oak table, half empty. Truce. Bobby offered, clinking bottles. Spencer nodded, wary. Truce. But we talk, really talk, about this mess. And we did. Hours blurred into confessions. Bobby's fear of his father's rejection, Spencer's quiet rebellion against his legacy, my own terror of being disposable. Laughter mixed with tears, the bar emptying around us. By closing time, something shifted, a fragile bridge forming over the chasm. Walking back to campus under street lamps casting long shadows, Bobby slung an arm around my shoulders, Spencer on my other side. What now? I whispered, the city humming alive. Now, Spencer said, we figure it out. No more hiding. It sounded simple. Felt like hope. But hope's a fragile thing, especially when family comes calling. Bobby's dad arrived unannounced a week later, rolling up to the frat house in a black Escalade that screamed old money. I was there, helping with decorations for the winter formal, streamers and fairy lights tangled like our lives. Mr. Hargrove was a silver fox alpha, broad as a linebacker, suit tailored sharp. His handshake crushed mine, eyes appraising like I was livestock at auction. Sons told me about you, he boomed, clapping Bobby on the back. Beta, ambitious. Bobby tensed beside me, smile strained. Dad, Alex is part of the team. He cut in, then leaned close, voice dropping. But let's be real, kid. Alphas need equals, not sidekicks. The words landed like a gut punch. I excused myself to the kitchen, splashing water on my face, mirror reflecting a ghost, pale, ordinary. When I emerged, they were arguing in low tones, Bobby's face flushed. He's not a phase, Dad. I love him. Love. The word hung, unexploded ordnance. Mr. Hargrove's laugh was bark without bite. Love? At your age? Finish school, secure the firm. Then play house. He left with backslaps and warnings, the Escalade purring away into the night. Bobby found me on the porch swing, head in hands. I'm sorry. He's stuck in the 80s. I pulled him close, his head on my shoulder. We'll prove him wrong. Spencer heard about it that night, texts flying like confetti. He showed up at my dorm with takeout from Giordano's, deep dish pie steaming in the box. Strength in numbers, he said, forking a bite. We ate cross-legged on the floor, plotting like revolutionaries. Internships that showcased me, a joint presentation for the Lit Mag on beta voices in alpha narratives. It felt united, us against the world. Until Spencer's call came. His mother, voice like cut crystal over speakerphone. Spencer, darling, the gala's next month. Bring Elena, she's perfect. Elena, Omega heiress, family ties knotted tighter than a noose. He paced my room, phone clutched white-knuckled. Mom, no. I'm seeing someone. Silence, then ice. A beta? Oh, Spencer. Think of your future. He hung up, collapsing beside me. They'll disown me. The trust, the apartment, gone. My heart twisted. Then let it go. We build our own. But doubt crept in, insidious. Late-night scrolls through Spencer's family photos. Yachts and galas, Elena's arm looped through his at last year's event. Was I fighting a losing war? The winter formal loomed, a glittering trap. I went stag, tux rented cheap, nerves jangling like loose change. The hall in the student center was decked in silver and blue. Uptown funk, thumping as couples swayed. Bobby found me first, bow tie askew, pulling me onto the floor. Dance with me, beta. We moved together, his hands warm on my waist, laughter bubbling as we butchered the steps. Spencer watched from the punch bowl, Elena on his arm, begrudging, a shield against his mother's edicts. Our eyes met across the room, a current pulling taut. Later, under the mistletoe by the balcony doors, Spencer cornered me. This isn't me, he murmured, Elena chatting obliviously with a prof nearby. She's a friend. Covering. I nodded, throat tight. I know. His fingers brushed my cheek, thumb tracing my jaw. Run away with me? After finals. Amtrak to New York, crash on my cousin's couch. Start fresh. The offer dangled, seductive. But Bobby appeared then, catching the tail end. Run away? With him. Hurt flashed raw. It's not, Spencer started. Bobby whirled on me. Choose, Alex. Now. The music swelled, couples blurring into a kaleidoscope of color. My pulse thundered. I can't. Not like this. I fled to the balcony, cold air slapping my face, the city sprawl glittering below like scattered diamonds. Footsteps followed, both of them, shadows merging in the doorway. We're done fighting, Bobby said, voice steady. But if you can't choose. Spencer nodded. We let you go? For real. Tears froze on my lashes. I love you. Both. That's the choice. Silence stretched, then Bobby stepped forward, cupping my face. Then we make it work. Throuple, or whatever the kids call it. Screw the norms. Spencer hesitated, then joined, his hand over Bobby's. Together. It was madness. Beautiful, terrifying madness. Spring thawed Chicago slow that year, the lake ice cracking like old grudges under the March sun. Campus bloomed tentative, crocuses pushing through snowbanks, students shedding coats for hoodies, the air humming with that restless energy before finals. For us, it was a fragile piece, the three of us navigating the uncharted like explorers with a faulty map. We called it the Pact. No labels, no territories, just honesty carved in late-night whispers. Mornings tangled in Bobby's frat bed, his easy snores rumbling against my back, while Spencer texted memes from his early seminar. Afternoons in Spencer's apartment, debating policy over cold brews, Bobby crashing with practice gear slung over his shoulder. Evenings at the pier, the three of us shoulder to shoulder, skipping stones into the waves, dreams skipping alongside. It wasn't perfect. Whispers followed like shadows. Rivera's got the whole package now, literally. Jake's crew snickered in the halls, but Campus Pride Week helped. Rainbows draping the quad, panels on polyamory drawing crowds. Dr. Ellis, our mediator, even ran a session for us. Unconventional loves in a binary world, her notes scribbled with affirmations. Bobby's dad tested the waters, inviting us to Easter brunch at the club in Lincoln Park. Mr. Hargrove eyed Spencer like a rival bidder at auction, but when I passed the potatoes without flinching, he grunted approval. Ballsy kid. Most betas fold. Spencer charmed him with tales of lit crit, Bobby beaming like a kid at show and tell. It was a win, small but seismic. Spencer's mother was thornier, a video call from her Park Avenue airy, pearls gleaming like accusations. Darling, Elena's family is inquiring. But when Spencer angled the laptop to show us, me and Bobby flanking him, hands linked, she paused, then sighed. If this makes you happy. But the trust, Spence. Reconsider. He didn't. Signed the papers relinquishing it the next week, trading Silver Spoon for freedom. Worth it, he said, toasting with cheap wine in our makeshift picnic on the quad. The loss stung. He sold his car, moved into a cheaper sublet, but his eyes shone brighter, unburdened. Me? I thrived in the chaos, my GPA climbing, an internship at a local lit mag accepting beta pitches. But under the bloom, rot festered. Bobby started pulling away, subtle at first, canceled plans for team stuff, text lagging. I chalked it up to senior stress, lacrosse playoffs looming. Spencer noticed too, brow furrowing over breakfast bagels. Talk to him, Alex. We're in this. I did, cornering Bobby after practice in the locker room haze, steam curling like ghosts. What's eating you? He toweled off, avoiding my eyes. Dad's on me again. Firm interview in the city. Says the arrangement looks bad on paper. His laugh was forced, like I'm applying for a merger. My stomach nodded. And, maybe he's right. What if this tanks my future? Yours. I grabbed his wrist, damp and warm. Our future, remember? He pulled free gently. I know. Just thinking. The seed of doubt took root, twisting. Nights alone in my dorm amplified it, walls echoing with what-ifs. Spencer sensed the shift, drawing me closer, walks along the lake path, his arm a steady weight. He's scared. He murmured one dusk, gulls wheeling overhead. Alphas like him, conditioned to conquer alone. But fear mirrored back. What if I was the weak link, the beta dragging them down? Finals week hit like a freight train, all-nighters blurring into caffeine-fueled hazes. We studied en masse in the library's glassed-in carols, notes sprawling like battle plans. Bobby rallied, acing his mock interviews, but tension simmered, snapped pencils, size heavy as humidity. Graduation crept closer, caps and gowns stacking in windows like omens. Bobby's offer came first, junior analyst at his dad's firm, 6 figures and a corner office view of the Loop. Relocate to the city. He said over celebratory tacos at Big Star, skyline twinkling beyond the patio. All of us. Sublet together. Spencer blinked, fork pausing. New York's pulling me, PhD program at Columbia. Full ride. The table fell silent, guac congealing untouched. My throat closed. What about us? Bobby's jaw set. Long distance. Come on, that's beta logic, settling. Spencer's eyes flashed. And uprooting for your dad's approval is alpha ego. Alex has ties here. Family, the mag. I stared at my plate, the world narrowing to the chip in my bowl. Don't make me choose sides. But they did, words escalating like a bad sequel to the cafeteria brawl. Bobby stormed out first, chair scraping. Spencer followed, muttering about toxic patterns. I paid the bill alone, walking the mag mile in a daze, neon signs mocking. Live, laugh, love. The explosion came at the senior luau, tiki torches flickering on the beach behind campus, waves lapping like uneasy breaths. Hula skirts and lays masked the undercurrent, but alcohol loosened tongues. I nursed a Mai Tai by the bonfire, embers dancing like fireflies, when Bobby approached, solo, eyes glassy. Missed you today, he slurred, pulling me into a clumsy sway to the ukulele strains. I melted into it, his cedar scent grounding. Missed you too. But Spencer emerged from the shadows, Elena on his arm. No, wait, a random omega from debate, tipsy and laughing. Having fun without me. Bobby stiffened. Always the third wheel, huh? The music faltered for me, heart slamming. Guys. No. Spencer cut in, shedding the omega like an ill-fitting coat. This is the problem. We're forcing a square peg. Bobby laughed, bitter. Says the guy who bolted for New York the second it got real. Real? Like your daddy's leash. Spencer's voice rose, drawing stares. Fists clenched, the air crackling. I stepped between, shoving hard. Enough. You're doing it again, fighting over me like I'm a damn prize. They froze, chests heaving. Bobby's eyes welled. Because you are. Spencer's hand trembled as he reached for me. To me, yeah? But not like this. The bonfire popped, sparks scattering. I need air. I choked, bolting into the dunes, sand shifting underfoot. Branches snagged my lay as I climbed, lungs burning, until I crested a hill overlooking the dark lake. Collapsing against a driftwood log, sobs racked me. Ugly, guttural, the kind that hollow you out. They found me at dawn, dew-kissed and shivering. Bobby first, jacket draped over my shoulders. Spencer with a thermos of coffee, wordless. We sat in a ragged circle, sunrise gilding the horizon in pinks and golds. "I'm leaving," Bobby said finally, voice steady. "Dad's got a place in the city. Internship starts Monday." Spencer's nod was grim. "Train to New York next week. Program orientation." My world fractured. "And me?" "You stay," Spencer said softly. "Build here. We're not ending, just evolving." Bobby's hand found mine, then Spencer's, a chain unbroken. Visits, calls, whatever it takes. It was amputation disguised as mercy. Hugs lingered too long at the train station, Bobby's escalator to the city swallowing him in steel and glass. Spencer's goodbye was quieter, Grand Central looming like Judgment Day, his kiss tasting of salt and sorrow. Alone in Chicago, summer sweltered, empty campus, ghost town vibes. I threw myself into the mag, pitches turning to publications, beta voices amplified. Letters came, Bobby's glossy postcards from high-rises, Spencer's dog-eared metro cards with scribbled poems. Calls bridged the miles, laughter patching cracks. But autumn brought rot. Bobby's texts slowed, swamped with cases. Spencer's voicemails, seminar ran late, miss you. Distance bred ghosts, doubts whispering louder than lake winds. The breaking point hit in October, a package on my doorstep. Spencer's old copy of Leaves of Grass, inscribed anew. To Alex, my barbaric yop. Forever. S tucked inside, a news clipping, Bobby's engagement announcement. To Elena, Strategic Alliance, the society page cooed. My knees buckled, the book thudding to the floor. Betrayal, sharp as shattered glass. Fingers numb, I dialed Bobby. Voicemail. Spencer next, ringing into void. I confronted the truth in the mirror. I'd been the bridge they burned to cross their rivers. Ordinary, after all. Rage propelled me. Amtrak ticket bought, one way to nowhere. But at Union Station, platform fogged with breath, a voice cut through. Alex. Bobby, disheveled in a suit, tie askew. Don't go. Behind him, Spencer, haggard from the red eye, coat rumpled. We screwed up. Exhaustion warred with fury. Engaged? To her. Bobby winced. PR stunt. Dad's idea, for the firm. I said no. Last night. Spencer's eyes pleaded. I ghosted because. Fear. Of losing you both. But I can't. The train whistle screamed. I stepped off the platform, into their arms, a tangle of limbs and lies forgiven. No more running. Winter gripped Chicago again, but this time with mercy, snow blanketing the city in hush, muffling the scars. We rented a walk-up in Wicker Park, third floor with creaky stairs and a view of the L tracks rattling like old jazz. Bobby deferred the firm gig, took a paralegal spot at a nonprofit instead, pro bono for LGBTQ youth, his dad's grumbles echoing long distance. Spencer adjunct remotely, Columbia visits paired to summers, his trust money funneled into a joint fund for us. It wasn't seamless. Arguments flared like faulty wiring. Bobby's alpha temper sparking over chore charts. Spencer's brooding silences brooding deeper after bad Zoom critiques. I'd mediate, beta neutral, but some nights I'd slip out to the corner dive, nursing a Boilermaker while they hashed it in the kitchen, voices rising then falling to murmurs. Psychological depth came in therapy, group sessions now, Dr. Ellis beaming at our progress. We unpacked layers. Bobby's imposter syndrome under the charm, Spencer's abandonment wounds from a distant dad, my own beta invisibility complex, forged in South Side playgrounds where alphas ruled recess like kings. You're the glue, she'd say, but I pushed back. No, equals. Or nothing. Equals meant hard choices. Bobby proposed we co-author a piece for the mag. 3 hearts, 1 beat. Raw essays on poly love in alpha-beta worlds. Spencer illustrated, his sketches angular and tender. It published to buzz, panels inviting us to speak at Pride Fest from Boys Town to Brooklyn. Standing on stage, spotlights hot, their hands in mine. Grounding. I felt seen, not ordinary. But controversy shadowed. Online trolls decried us as alpha privilege parading as progress. Jake's echoes in Reddit threads. A protest at a reading, signs screaming, betas deserve better. left me shaken, questioning if I was complicit. Bobby punched a wall that night, knuckles bloody. Spencer held me through sobs. "We're human," he whispered. "Flawed as fuck, but real." The climax brewed slow, then erupted in spring, a Hargrove family wedding in the Hamptons, Bobby's cousin tying the knot to tradition. "Come," he begged. "Show them we're legit." Spencer and I packed khakis and doubts. The train to Penn Station, a rolling confessional. His mother's gala had thawed to frosty civility, but the Hargroves? Old guard alphas, cigars and cognac in oak-paneled clubs. The ceremony was a spectacle. Marquee tint on the dunes, ocean crashing like applause, Elena as bridesmaid, her smile tight when she air-kissed Spencer. Dinner was a minefield, toasts to legacies, sidelong glances at Bobby's friends. Mr. Hargrove cornered me by the bar, scotch sloshing. "Still playing house?" My boy's wasted potential. I held steady, Betacom masking the quake. "He's building his own." A laugh, condescending. "With what? A poet and a paralegal? Wake up, son." The barb lodged deep. Later, on the beach under stars like spilled salt, Bobby found me skipping shells into the surf. "Dad's an asshole." "Ignore." But I couldn't. "Am I holding you back?" His arms wrapped tight. "Never." Spencer joined, blanket draped over shoulders. We're all holding each other up. The unexpected twist came at the reception's end. A storm rolling in off the Atlantic, thunder rumbling like divine discontent. Tents flapped, guests fleeing, but we lingered, dancing barefoot in the sand as rain lashed. Laughter turned to shouts when lightning cracked a marquee pole, sending it crashing, guests screaming, chaos erupting. In the scramble, Elena twisted her ankle, alpha bridesmaids fussing. But Bobby dove for a kid, his cousin's son, toddler lost in the crush, shielding him under his body as debris rained. Spencer hauled me clear, his grip bruising, then turned back for the boy. "Got him." They emerged soaked, triumphant, Bobby cradling the child, Spencer supporting Elena. The family saw, not rivals, but brothers in the breach. Mr. Hargrove's clap on Bobby's back was genuine. "Proud son." Back in the city, the incident bonded us deeper, but unearthed buried secrets. Bobby confessed over midnight pancakes. Dad offered the firm back. "If I ditched you both." I burned the letter. Spencer, in turn, "My mom sent suppressants. For your own good. Flush them." My turn cracked me open. I kept the engagement clipping, as proof I wasn't enough. We burned it in the sink, flames licking blue, ashes swirling down the drain. Catharsis, raw and real. Summer brought equilibrium. Road trip in a borrowed van. Route 66 echoes from Illinois to Cali. Dunes in Indiana, Ticarius in Arizona, Pacific waves crashing at Big Sur. Stops for hikes, hooky from life. Nights under canvas where touches lingered chaste but charged, emotions bared in starlight confessions. Back home, the mag expanded to a podcast, our voices anchoring episodes on love's messy edges. Protests turned to dialogues, trolls to tentative allies. Bobby's dad visited, awkward barbecue on our fire escape, grilling brats and questions. "You're good for him," he admitted to me, begrudging. Spencer's mom mailed a check, for the future, no strings. Yet depth lingered in quiet moments. Me tracing Bobby's scars from that vending machine brawl, Spencer reading Whitman aloud as rain pattered the window. We fought, over laundry, over egos, but made up fiercer, commitments renewed like vows unspoken. The humanistic close unfolded on a crisp October eve, anniversary of the cafeteria chaos. We returned there, trays balanced precariously, the same table scarred but sturdy. No fights this time, just hands linked under the formica, laughter echoing as we toasted with contraband beers. "I'm still ordinary," I said, clinking. Bobby grinned. "Nah, you're our extraordinary." Spencer squeezed. "The heart of it." Outside, leaves swirled in eddies, Chicago breathing eternal. Weed clawed through betrayals, misunderstandings, the world's sharp edges, emerging not unbroken, but reforged. Love, we learned, isn't a battlefield won, but a garden tended, weeds and all. In the end, it was enough. More than enough.